Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
I'll make a motion we approve.
And I will second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on recommending the common council set a public hearing date for zoning map amendment from RM1, multiple family residential, to RM2, multiple family residential, and a comprehensive plan amendment from medium density residential to high density residential at St. Croix County tax parcel 236-2041-00-000 Landvest LLC.
So Landvest is requesting to rezone the parcel. It's on the corner of Hanley and the old State Highway 35. They want to rezone it from RM1 to RM2 so that they can put a few more apartments in there than what they previously planned for. In 2018, it was rezoned from general business to a multifamily residential parcel. Staff is recommending approval of setting a public hearing date.
May I ask the dumb question of what was the difference between the two zoning classifications? I mean, it's jumping from this to this. How many potential units? I mean, I just, for clarification in my mind, the old zoning level would allow X amount of units. The new zoning level will allow X amount of units. What are those numbers?
Approximately 91 currently to approximately 152 in the current proposal.
Thank you.
Is there a need? Is there demand? There's obvious demand and need for it?
Yeah, you know,
Their risk.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it.
and obviously we're just talking about setting a public hearing date at this point, but, or requesting that the council do so, but I think it's important to also discuss the council's discussion last night. One of the major concerns that staff has when we get to formulating a recommendation on it is access. If we're talking about 152 units theoretically on that property, it wouldn't be good planning or a good recommendation for staff to make to shove all those residents onto Meadowlark. So we're suggesting that we work with the town of Hudson to potentially take over jurisdiction of Old 35 from Hanley to Stage Line to potentially allow access to that property instead of just saying, you know, all property has to go, or all the properties in there would have to go to Meadowlark, or all the people in there to get out through Hudson Meadows.
I get your train of thought.
So, the discussion at council ended last night. They postponed any decision so that we could work with, staff could work with DOT that owns the park and ride to see if we could potentially combine accesses or potentially acquire that property to make it a little bit function a little bit better. So we're working on that. I had a brief response from DOT today. They're looking into it. So, you know, I think that's really going to be germane to, you know, how staff.
Who assumes the cost then if we take over that road? Will the property owners, or who pays for that?
Sure. I think if we get to that point in the future, and we get to, let's say that the rezonings were to be approved,
Okay.
let's say the development plans for an apartment facility were to be approved, then at that point, we would work on a developer's agreement that says, hey, you're required to have access off of 35, Old 35, you're gonna impact 35, you know, with all the additional vehicle trips. You know, I would envision us require them to provide, you know, some preventative maintenance to that road, or do something to that road to build it up to a size that would be needed to accommodate it. But long-term, that'd be the city's responsibility, to be a city road.
Well, I think that property should assume that cost, I guess, is where I'm coming from with my questions.
Yep.
Rather than even a shared type thing. I mean, build it to city standards and turn it over to us. I
Yep.
guess maybe that's our weapon on an issue like that. And
That's how I would envision it going is, yeah, they would have to do curb and gutter from where it terminates at the intersection currently and extend it at least as far north as the north property line and include a turn lane or whatever that looks like. It hasn't been engineered. I mean, it's out there. a ways before we get to those.
What is the tax implication then of a property like that? Now, does it benefit the city, you know, in the general fund and operations? I mean, in all ways, does that help the city? Are we neutral or are we slipping backwards?
Well, you want,
Go ahead if you want.
I was just gonna say, I mean, a higher density is better for the city,
It is.
tax-wise.
Okay. Okay.
And this
Short
is,
answer, do you have a?
Well, no, that's what I wanted to know, one way or the other. It's
I
either
think you're
plus
right.
or minus.
Wax the school a little bit.
Yeah.
We will incur costs, though.
Right.
The road is in dire need of help as far as maintenance and,
Well, I'm going to move that we have the public hearing or do as recommended. They deserve their day in court, and I just want to proceed on that basis, but knowing we already have some caveats as to some of what's going on. Is that too much?
How soon would they hope, I mean, if we approved it to go to city council, you're gonna wait for the answers back
From DOT,
from
correct?
DOT yet?
So we left the date out for right now. I think the thought was not the first weekend or the first meeting in May. We don't have a second meeting currently planned in May. That was a meeting that we took off the schedule with the Memorial Day holiday. Potentially, we could have a second meeting in May. I don't know yet, depends
Won't be
on.
here, but-
Okay. Because we'll have to make, obviously, a recommendation to council before, you know, they make their, but I don't like having that right before the council meeting either. Got to give people time to,
So do they want to move? Is that what the issue here is they want to get going or doing?
I think like any
Right.
project, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Yep. I'd prefer to keep it a little bit more vague for this time being until we determine what our May schedule might or might not look like. Understanding that the representatives aren't here either currently, so.
Well, that doesn't change my motion.
Yep.
Okay. Further discussion? Oh, there was,
There is
was
no
there a second?
Oh, I'll second it.
so I have a question, just for, this is apartment or is this senior housing?
Apartment.
Okay, thank you.
described as high-end, correct? If I read somewhere.
Hanley Road Luxury Apartments is what they're naming it, branding it.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Right here on the floor plan.
Discussion possible action on concept development plans for Luther Hudson Chevrolet expansion and site improvements at 1220 and 1250 Crestview Drive, Luther Company LLP.
So Luther Chevy has submitted some concept plans for us to look over for a building expansion and site improvements. Site improvements include parking and drive aisle reconfiguration, improved landscaping, stormwater improvements, platting 2 lots because they bought the one property that's next to them, and they're going to merge them together through a CSM later on. Staff is recommending approval of the concept plans with a couple conditions, along with that the property owner obtain approval of their subdivision for CSM, and that the updated site lighting, grading, drainage, paving, erosion control, and utilities plans be submitted prior to final development plan consideration.
It's a much-needed site improvement. I'll move we approve.
I'll second it.
Motion second, discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on final development plans for a building addition at 2700 Harvey Street, HP Group LLC.
So the applicant has submitted some final development plans on behalf of the company Chandler, who operates out of 2700 Harvey. They operate out of the business park. Flag lot property to the south is in process of being acquired, and the proposed building addition includes 66,708 square feet. Some updates to these final plans that we requested include an additional fire hydrant on the southeast side of the property, some guardrails on the east side retaining wall, and some tree locations were moved to avoid egress routes. Staff is recommending approval of the final development plans with listed conditions.
In addition, there's an open space covenant that needs to be addressed via the business park. They're slightly more restrictive than our city code, so we'll have to work through those with the Business Park Board Corporation.
Is this land that they already own, so they're increasing their utilization or footprint on this lot that they own, or how do you say that?
They're acquiring the property to the south.
Yeah,
They're
they're still in the process of acquiring it.
More tax base, right?
I'll move to approve with the conditions that you read.
And I'll second.
And the one that I added at the end.
That one too.
That one too.
Motion and a second.
Yes.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. What else would you guys like to talk about for the next 10, 20 minutes?
The rain and Spain falls mainly in the
Have
plain.
Mike all over us for that, because it's not on the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
No, wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Comp Plan RFP Committee appointment, we need to decide who from here is going to be a part of that,
You are.
besides me.
I'll take care of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to bring up one issue of summer parking and parking enforcement, boat trailers. And with the downtown, new meters, new costing, a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'm experiencing it already. Cars, trucks are parking in front of driveways. They're leaving, some cars are being left for a week at a time. All kinds of things are going on that are not good for when we say we have no parking. The city's not helping ourselves by not enforcing some rules that I think we have in place to make things work better. And all I'm asking is, can they do their job and enforce this stuff? The boat trailer stuff, all this stuff, the 24-hour parking, and especially within a perimeter of downtown. I mean, within, I don't know how far out you go, 3-4 blocks?
Yeah.
We're in transition right now, which is not helping that situation. We do not have a parking coordinator yet.
Yeah, so we lost our previous parking enforcement person, and now we're interviewing later, I want to say this week
This
or
week,
next,
yeah.
this week, yeah.
But we will pass it on to the chief.
Well, I don't want to call up the cops and say, hey, I got this car out in front. You know, then they come and they mark it, and then they come 24 hours later. And I'll do that if I have to, but I don't think I should have.
Nope.
Yeah, that's all. If that's a fair
Take it up
comment.
at public safety.
So you want meters in front of your house?
No.
Got plenty of old ones.
Shame on you.
to take care of it.
You need one for a red
Shame
pickup
on you.
out there.
No, I'm still in residential, but because I'm abutting the downtown commercial, I don't mind, people have the right to park there, and I have no problem with it. Most of them, I talk to them, they're friendly, and it's fun. But there's a few that,
It's boat, I've had the boat trailers before.
Yeah.
Up on 4th.
oh yeah, and they look for a place that's not the cops aren't looking, that's not susceptible, and so they'll keep trying everything. You'll see them up on 3rd Street, I've seen them up there. You see them up on Walnut, up on the hill, you see them 4th and 5th, they're everywhere. But the other part of it too is alley, or driveway access and stuff like that. People are not paying attention to that. I don't know, everything's marked. I mean, what happens if there was an ambulance call and you couldn't get in because some goof was parked there? Oh boy. That's all. I mean, fair comments, hopefully.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
A motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Thanks, everybody.